Okay, we're going to title this one Our First Two Presidents. Okay, let's start off with George Washington. All right, I know you know a lot about him already. Okay. We know he picked his Secretary of State and Treasurer, Alexander Hamilton and Thomas Jefferson. So I'm kind of skip over that, but they will advise him. Okay. And what he has to try to prove, and I'm going to start with this, do this with a question. Here's a question he has to answer. Will this new government, I'll put the Constitution here, be better than the Articles of Confederation? So we're on our second government here. George Washington is the head of it. Will it be better? Now, what made the Articles of Confederation go away was the Shays Rebellion. All of a sudden, there's going to be another rebellion to test George Washington and our new government to see if it is going to be able to survive. And the name of the rebellion is the Whiskey Rebellion. Okay, so I'm going to just tell you this story about our Whiskey Rebellion. I'm not going to write all of it out, but you need to have a clue about this. So the Whiskey Rebellion, what's happening here is this. And I'll kind of put some name stuff in here. All right, farmers that grew corn, whatever was left over, they turned it into whiskey. And why is that important? All right, so it's whiskey, all right, is easy to transport. You know, you had all this leftover corn that you didn't sell, you turn into whiskey. It's easy to transport, and you can sell it year round. So it's kind of like an extra income. You're not just making money off of people buying corn to eat. Now they're buying whiskey because it's extra income. And people, that was good. They had their extra income from the whiskey. So all of a sudden, here comes that evil word, a tax on whiskey. Do you remember why we fought the American Revolutionary War? Some of those reasons? People are upset. We don't like taxes. Taxes are bad, people think. There's a tax on whiskey. Oh my gosh. The rebellion happens. Storming an arsenal again. Oh my gosh, what are we going to do? It's going to be bad, tar and feathering again. All right, so I should probably have this over here, caused by something like that. A tax on whiskey. And let's go with my blue here. What did people do? All right, they storm another arsenal. They tar and feather. Tax collectors. And they storm an arsenal. Again. Just like in Shays Rebellion. All right, so things are bad again. Guess who has to come in to save the day? Now, since there's taxing going on, George Washington with the U.S. Army stops it. because he is the enforcer of the law. He's our executive. He enforced the law with the army. Protects us from ourselves and foreign invaders. Now, the big thing we got to focus on is, what did we learn? What did we learn? To protest peacefully. That's what we learned from the Whiskey Rebellion incident. Okay? Now, George Washington now is going to retire. We want him to actually stay in office. We want him to be our president forever. There was no laws that said he can't do that. All right? That doesn't happen until all the way to World War II. All right? So, George Washington, losing my paper here. Steps down. He steps down. George Washington steps down. But he warns us about two things. Let me do this real. Let's see what I got here. Warns. It's not going to be still, is it? All right, stay right there. You keep working. We're going to do this. We'll get some tape. This thing's going to quit moving. I know it's funny, but it's going to work out. All right, here we go. Warns us, or U.S. One, he warns us about this. Europe. He says Europe's bad. He wants non-intervention in Europe. Non-intervention in Europe. He says that's bad because they're always at war. They're at war so much. Stay out of there. And then the last thing he's going to warn us about, you learned about. He warned us about factions. He saw what Thomas Jefferson and Alexander Hamilton did to each other. So he's saying we need to watch out. We didn't pay attention to that, and our political parties have been ripping us to pieces forever and ever. All right, so George Washington, repeat, and he'll be replaced by, we'll finish like this, John Adams. John Adams will be our second president. If you want to know a lot about him, go watch the movie. It's easy to remember. The name of it is John Adams. Be careful, it's very graphic. So again, George Washington, will this new government work under the Constitution? Let's find out. A Whiskey Rebellion happens. There's a tax on whiskey. They tar and feather the tax collectors. They storm the arsenal. George Washington walks in, stops them. What did we learn? Protest peacefully if you want new things to happen. And George Washington steps down and then warns America about non-intervention in Europe because they're always in war. Warns about political parties or factions who tear us to pieces. And he's replaced finally with John Adams, our second president, who'll basically have to try and live up to that. Here we go.